Hi, and welcome to the Arts District Podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Georgia.
And we're on episode 46 this week in Toronto.
Yeah.
And still among the Pan Am festivities.
Yeah.
Tonight, Charles Bradley is playing at Nathan Phillips Square. I just heard that on the radio as I was coming here.
Man.
I know, and I was like, what? I didn't even know he was part of the Pan Am
Yeah.
activities.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
We should go.
Yeah. We forgot to turn the fan off.
Oh, darn. You might not be able to hear anything.
Fan noises. Gotta get rid of those.
Okay.
So
pro.
Yeah, it's okay. At least we remembered before too late.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of random things to talk about today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 book reviews, so welcome back to Georgia's Book Club.
Nice. I was waiting for that return.
Okay.
Just brief recap of the weekend. It was the Aurelia Scottish Festival, so I was home in Aurelia, and I saw your parents actually.
Oh yeah.
Yep, saw your parents at the park.
I didn't know they would.
Well, I don't think they were like there for the Scottish Fest. They were just
Oh.
hanging out at the park.
Cool.
But, yeah. So that was fun. Got in touch with my heritage a little bit.
It's a funny little festival.
Yeah, it was packed. It was like the biggest and busiest Scottish Fest I've ever seen. Like
Really?
it was so busy. Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's really hot that day too. But
Yeah.
it was great to see so many people in town. And I didn't realize there were so many Scottish people or people of Scottish background. But I guess that area is predominantly Scottish or English descendants.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not very multicultural up there, but anyways, it was cool. Glad I saw it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I didn't do a lot this weekend, though I did play around with the new GoPro that I got.
Yes.
So that leads me into this weekend is WAYHOME.
Yay, WAYHOME.
Yay.
Finally. I feel like, when were we at that event? Was that in
Like
February?
February?
Because it was so cold and now
Yeah.
it's so hot and we're finally going.
Yeah. So we are going this weekend and we are bringing cameras and stuff, so we're going to get some footage, and that will be in next week's podcast.
Yeah, and it'll probably be primarily WAYHOME because Monday night I can't film.
Okay.
And Tuesday night I have a gig. So
Ooh.
yeah, so we'll like do our whole podcast
Yeah.
at the way home.
Sounds good.
On the way home, at the way home, at way home. Yeah, so that'll be that. And we'll probably have some special guests thrown in just for fun. Maybe we'll run into Neil Young. Be our first, musical guest.
Yes.
Instant credibility.
And get some footage of him saying, listen to the Arts District podcast.
You should, design us, credentials that
Okay.
say, TAD Podcast, press.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll just wear them. They don't have to look official, but something. Okay. So that if we go up to people and be like, hey, we're from the Arts District Podcast, they'll be like, look at our credentials and be like, oh, okay. They're legit.
Yeah. I don't want to say on the record that I'll do that, but I'm capable of that.
You are capable. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Tell me about your gig.
Yeah, so some people we know are throwing a stag and show for some people that they know. And they asked us to play at the show, so we're going to. And we're doing an acoustic set, so not a full-out rock and roll set or anything. But
sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be nice because we have a gig August 8th at Homegrown Hamilton again, so it'll be nice because it's been so long since we played last that it's kind of like a little stepping stone.
Awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. We haven't really practiced a lot, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. You've been doing your videos and stuff. So.
I think I'm going to upload another one either tomorrow or the next day, so
stay tuned.
You can check it out. Yeah. So, yeah, WAYHOME. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll just run through some of the random things I have.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about podcasts because now that my computer at work, for the longest time, the headphone jack didn't work, so I couldn't listen to things at work through my computer. But they finally fixed it, and so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts because it passes the time really well. And I started out with this one called Serial, which was really popular. Did you ever listen to it?
I never listened to it. I've heard bits of it through related podcasts because it's through NPR, right? Or is it not?
It's the people that do This American Life.
Yeah. Or NPR or shoot, what's the other one? I can't remember. It's out of Chicago.
Baltimore.
Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
where, like, this story takes place. I don't know where the actual base is.
For the podcast is. Okay.
It was really good, though. This one in particular was about, like, an ongoing murder case that was never really solved, and new details have emerged, and they're figuring it out. And it's, like, it's happening in, like, real time. Like, I guess it happened over a year, so each of the 12 episodes was, like, one a month, I'm guessing, when it originally came out. And so, like, the people that are investigating it are really only, like, one step ahead of you the whole time, because, like, as they do the podcast, they're telling you about things that they just found out about in that last month. Right. So it's really interesting, and they're hoping to have a second season out this fall.
Okay, but this is, like, investigative journalists, right? Like, it's not actually, like, the police?
No, yeah, it's, like, this lady who used to write for Baltimore's, like, newspaper.
Oh, okay.
And somebody approached her and was like, hey, this case is, like, kind of closed, but can you look into it somewhere?
Okay.
And I guess she was like, yeah, I'll do a podcast about it. And it was awesome. It was so enthralling. I was, like, binge listening to it. Yeah, it was really good. So definitely recommend that one if you listen to podcasts. You've probably already heard of it. I think I'm late to the podcast game.
Yeah, but, that one, like, exploded.
Coming from the person who's hosting a podcast. You always talk about them. I'm like, yeah, like, podcasts, cool.
No, podcasts are awesome.
Podcasts are awesome. The second one I was listening to today was the New York Times Popcast. Is more like media, music, arts related, mainly music. One of the ones that caught my attention today was a feature they did on this, like, 11-year-old jazz pianist prodigy, Joey Alexander. He's awesome. Again, if you're at all interested in jazz, you've probably already heard of him, but I hadn't. And it was really good. Apparently, his debut album, which was released in May, went straight to, like, the #1 jazz album on the iTunes charts.
Oh, wow.
So for an 11-year-old, that's pretty damn good. So yeah, that was cool. That was the New York Times Popcast. That one was good. I listened to one episode on Love and Radio today. It was about this dude from Baltimore again, talking about, like, racism, and it was, like, an interesting story about racism. It was good.
Okay.
And
yeah, I've listened to a couple of Love and Radio. They're really good.
Yeah.
Really, like, personal stories.
I just love, like, the audio quality. Like, podcasts are so clear that you feel like you're, like, getting a hug from the ears. Like, it's like, oh, it's just so warm.
Especially ones like that. They're, like, coming out of major radio stations.
Yeah.
And, like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're so pro.
Yeah. Radio Lab is another good one. I love Radio Lab.
Yeah, and I've been meaning to check out that Night Vale one that you mentioned to me a while back.
Yeah.
Is that, like, stories? Like,
okay. How do I explain it? It's like he's a radio broadcaster in a town that has all this spooky stuff happening all the time. So it's like a news broadcast.
Oh, cool.
But from this weird town called Night Vale.
Neat.
And it's, like, stuff that's absurd happening in this town, but there's something about it that's, like, really unsettling. And the news broadcaster guy has this, like, really calm, mellow, soothing voice. Like, everything's normal, even though, like, aliens have come and are, like, sacrificing children.
Oh my gosh.
or there's, like, a mysterious cloud. And you have to, like,
dance
to appease it, otherwise bad stuff happens, or...
That sounds fun.
Yeah, or, like, Mrs. So-and-so, who's, like, 95, is being visited by the ghost of her son, who's an angel. It's all, like, really weird, absurd stuff, but it's, like, said in a way that's really unsettling.
Interesting. I'll listen to that tomorrow. I finally got around to listening to that Canadaland one that you sent me. It was a story about this local Toronto guy who wrote an article on his blog about Factor, which is, like, the government funding for emerging artists or established artists, just, like, anyone who's looking to get some money to help them with their musical projects. So, yeah, it was interesting just hearing him talk, like, defending his article and the backlash that he got from it.
Because he essentially called out the system and said it's broken.
Yeah, it is kind of messed up. I totally agree with him. And I've received a Factor grant before, and the whole process was painstakingly long, and it's just not like a true system.
Mm.
Like it needs some updating for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of seemed like from that podcast, like you have the most number of artists who are like lesser known fighting for like the smallest amount of grants, and then the bit where the big money is all going to sort of establish Canadian either labels or artists. Yeah. So kind of messed up.
Yeah, it is a little messed up. So I agree with him there for sure. So yeah, there's a couple podcasts. If you aren't into listening to a lot of podcasts, you can go check them out after you listen to this one, obviously.
And still working on getting this up on iTunes and SoundCloud and all that. Getting just an audio version as well, in case you don't want to look at our faces. Or you want to do stuff while you're...
I'm sure most people probably just minimize their YouTube screen. Nobody even watches us.
Yeah.
You're missing out on all of this awesomeness.
Yeah. 720p.
So yeah, that's cool. It'll be neat though if we finally do get it up on iTunes, because then people can binge listen. They'll listen to all 46 episodes in
that's true. And see
a matter of days.
Timid and shy, but also very well researched we used to be.
I know. We've gotten better at speaking, but our notes have gotten worse.
Yeah.
You can't win them all.
Exactly.
We have better days than others, but...
Should I get into my stuff?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna start with this one. So, I was waiting to read this for a while, and then I finally got it. You may know him if you watch Parks and Rec, or if you are into stand-up comedy. It is Aziz Ansari's new book, Modern Romance. I think first book. I'm pretty sure first book.
Sure, it says somewhere in here.
Probably. I'm not gonna... It's just dead air while we listen. Look up. It says a writer. I don't know. He might have written for television and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think he's written any books before. It was good. It was more... I don't want to say science side, but researched than I had expected. Like, it's not just straight up like a comedy book, and it's not a memoir. It's not like Amy Poehler or Tina Fey's books or Mindy Kaling's books. It is about modern romance and how the dating world and everything has changed since even like our parents' generation or our grandparents' generation with the technological advancements that we have. He worked along with a sociologist, Eric Kleinenberg. I think I said that right. Kleinenberg. Yeah. I forget that there's... And then... what else do I want to say about this? There's a lot of stuff that sort of felt kind of obvious. But some funny stuff, interesting things. Some, like, analyzing of people's text messages or talking to people around the world about what they feel about online dating and texting and modern relationships and stuff like that. And sort of seeing this, because he was talking to people of all different generations, like going into retirement homes and talking to people there, and a lot of people were talking about how there's this new period in people's lives, like young people's lives in your 20s, living on your own, sort of exploring things, and it seems like people of older generations wish that they had that. Now we sort of like live and experience lots of things and like date lots of different people, whereas previous generations were sort of like, you met someone in your building or who lived on your street and then you got married after your families decided neither of you seemed like murderers.
Right.
And then that was it. You just lived together forever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of an interesting thing to think about. Like, yeah, we do have this totally different period of our lives that previous generations haven't had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought of it like that.
Yeah. And so I would say if you've seen his stand-up at Madison Square Gardens, it's on Netflix. It was like a Netflix original something. That is really good. This is kind of like more of that. So if you thought that was good, you might want to check this out. But I would say you don't need to. That's my review. I think
6 out of 10?
Yeah. On Goodreads, I think I gave it 3 stars out of 5. I'm on Goodreads. You can follow me. So I enjoyed it, but I wasn't, like, crazy about it.
Cool.
Did
Did you buy it or did you rent it?
I did buy it. Rent it?
Well, that one's got a library sticker on it.
Yeah.
It's not blasphemy.
No, I know. I thought... But I've never heard someone say renting books from the library.
And you say borrowing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari.
Cool. I finally finished Sense8. What do you mean finally? I totally like binged watch it.
You told us about it like last week.
Yeah, so last week, and I finally finished it. Loved it. There was a couple awkward, like legit birthing scenes where I was like, I can't watch this. There's like they're showing like a lady pushing a baby out, and I don't want to know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid I'll maybe never want to have children.
Yeah.
So I'm okay blocking my eyes for those parts. But overall, loved it. Can't wait for the second season to come out. I just love that it takes place all over the world, so you get to see like real scenes shot like in India, in Berlin, San Francisco, my favorite place ever. So yeah, really cool. I love the diversity of the cast, and yeah, I just loved it. Nice. So if you've watched it, let me know what you thought of it. Just wanted to mention that I finally finished it because I feel like I never like finish anything anymore. I just get distracted and I never have the time to finish things. So some more tech news for you. Last week I talked about those new earbuds that are coming out. Marshall, like as in Marshall Amps, released it. It's a little press thing that they're putting out their version of a smartphone. I guess they collabed with some other phone maker, and they're launching a smartphone that they're claiming is the loudest mobile phone on Earth, which I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, why do you need a super loud phone?
Yeah.
I mean, their specialty is music, right? So you'll be able to listen to your music really loud, but there is a threshold for that anyways. It's got 2 headphone jacks, unlike normal phones, and each jack has its own volume control, so if you're listening with a friend, you can like, if they're listening to theirs super loud, you can listen to yours quiet, which is kind of cool. Okay. It's also designed to look like to resemble Marshall amps. So if you've ever seen one, that black skin with the gold knobs, so it's like your own little amp, which is cool. I don't know when they'll be out for purchase, but I'll be interested to see how many people switch from iPhone to that, because, you know, iPhones are good for creative people, but I feel like some creative people will be like, I want the Marshall phone, and, you know, maybe they'll switch. But
yeah, I was thinking while you were talking about that, well, like, what's the difference between using a splitter and having the headphones with the volume control? But I guess that volume control really controls the phone. Yeah. Like, it's not like if you had a splitter, you could each have different volumes. Yeah. Probably.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting. I think the operating system is, like, Android, Google.
Okay.
So it's not anything new or anything, but it just looks different.
Interesting. I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah. I want to mention Harper Lee, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird. Did you hear about this?
I did.
Yeah, so they, I guess, found old writings of another book that would have technically, I want to say preceded, but it's not. It's 20 years after. But she wrote it before.
She wrote it before.
She wrote it before To Kill a Mockingbird.
It was kind of rejected.
And then To Kill a Mockingbird came out, and she wrote... So the story that she wrote before technically takes place 20 years after To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah. My understanding is that, like, she wrote this first book, and then the authors were like... Or the editors were like, but a story about that person's childhood might be really interesting. So that's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah. Anyways, it came out on July 14th, and it sold 1.1 million copies.
People were already crazy for it.
Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of a record. For HarperCollins, but publishing at least.
Yeah. Bookstores were selling it out in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And having to order more. It was nuts.
Is Harper Lee still alive?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure they said that she said To Kill a Mockingbird was her only book. Was going to be her only book. And I feel like, why wouldn't they have put this out sooner if she was still alive? You know, maybe they were waiting.
Yeah.
Or they found it. It's like,
yeah,
someone in her estate found it. I don't know.
But you'd think the publishers would have had the original manuscript.
Yeah.
If she'd already discussed with them and stuff. Or maybe they were waiting for it to be in the public domain.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Anyway, what else do you have to say about it?
Nothing.
Okay. what I have heard is that people are outraged because it sort of dethrones Atticus Finch. Like, in To Kill a Mockingbird, he's like this amazing character who's like does everything right all the time. He's like the perfect hero. But in this book, he's like not so much. Not awesome. Yeah. Not the greatest guy. So people are kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Great descriptor.
Yeah.
People are...
Add that to your book list.
Yeah.
Tell us how it is.
Yeah, I want to read it. I'll have to wait for a million years before it comes into the library.
Do you want to do your other review?
Sure.
Okay.
So, the other book that I read is Nimona. And I have mentioned this before when I was going to TCAF, Toronto Comic Arts Festival. I saw the author of this, Noelle Stevenson, talk there. She's doing really well. Like, she's writing for cartoon shows. She's the co-author of Lumberjanes, which I've also mentioned before. Also sort of YA graphic novel stuff. I enjoyed it. This is a really quick read. It is about a sort of teenage shapeshifter, and she wants to do evil plots. So she joins up with this, like, villain, and then the villain has his nemesis, and, like, it's kind of, you know, fairy tale type thing, but it turns out that the good guys and the bad guys have to team up to fight the even badder guys.
Oh, interesting.
And all kinds of shenanigans. And Nimona is super, like, sassy and witty and silly, and the banter between her and the bad guy is, like, really fun and good. So, this is a quick read. You can read it in, like, an hour.
Really?
Yeah, super fast, like...
Okay, yeah. Small speech bubbles.
Yeah, there's not a lot of text. That might not be in focus. And lots of graphics. Yeah.
Cool.
Really fun. What else did I have to say about this? That's pretty much it.
Nice.
Nimona.
Good review.
Oh, it was a webcomic, and now it's been released as a book.
Okay.
So I should have read it when it was a webcomic, but she's taken all but the first 3 chapters down, and now it just exists as this book.
How many stars?
3 or 4 out of 5.
3.5?
Yeah, 3.5.
For the indecisive person.
3.5. The only thing I found is, like, yeah, it's being praised by, like, our generation, but I found it was a bit young. So it is kind of YA. But if you're looking for, like, a super light summer read, this is fun.
Something to take to the beach?
Yeah.
Cool. Finally, I just wanted to mention something that's happening right now in Hamilton. It's the Hamilton Fringe Fest, and it's 12th year. And what that is, it's basically like a theater performance festival. So there's over 300 performances taking place. It started July 16th, and it goes until the 26th. No show is over $10. So if you're looking for budget activities to do this week,
cool.
Go check out one of the many performances happening. If you go just check out their website, they have them all listed, laid out with venues and times and all that good stuff. Yeah. I've never been to this, but I know Adam was in a play once that took place, and it's cool because 100% of the revenue from the tickets goes to the artists, to the creators.
Oh, cool.
None of it's going to external parties. And there's no censorship. They give the writers of the plays or whatever it is total artistic freedom. So
nice.
Really supporting the arts, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that's happening until the 26th right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more thing. I didn't even write it down. It just popped into my head. If you've been following us since the beginning, you'll know that last summer I was really involved in working with the Aurelia Museum of Art and History's Carmichael Canadian Landscape Exhibition. They are accepting submissions for this year's exhibition. So if you're interested, check out their website. I think it's $35 to apply. All applications happen online. And I think it's like July 10th or 8th even that the decisions are made about who gets in. So it's coming up fast.
July 10th?
No, August.
I was like, that's already happened.
No, it's like August 8th or 10th.
Okay.
I would have to clarify that. But yeah, check it out if you're interested in exhibiting in Aurelia, or if you're into landscape art or earth art or Canadian.
That's cool. So
That kind
like
of stuff.
photographs and stuff too, right?
Yeah, they are totally into anything, pretty much anything.
Nice. Go for it.
Yeah. That's at the Aurelia Museum of Art and History's website.
Cool. All right. That was a lot of info for you.
Mm-hmm.
Soak it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good
So-
rest of week, and we'll see you next week from Way Home.
Yay.